Hello and welcome back to this video lecture series on nursing informatics. Thank you for subscribing and following this YouTube channel, and I hope you are learning something. For this video lecture, we are going to discuss about nursing informatics, particularly computer software, and also subtopic is hospital information system, although I have prepared also a separate discussion on hospital information system. So let's begin. So, and also last on my previous lecture video, we have computer hardware, so I hope you watch that video lecture and help you in your studies in nursing informatics. So in computer software, there are, based from this reference, there are three categories, although other books really present the two main categories, which is system software and application software. For the resources that I used, I have three: system software, application software, and also utility programs. Okay. So just to give some introduction, as the system software are the softwares that are present to make the computer function. Okay, or in other words, absence of this system software, the computer will not function. Okay, basically from the start, the system software starts up or initializes or boots up a computer system, and this is the main system that's needed to function. Okay, because it controls input, output, and storage, and most of the processes. And this is a common term here. We have BIOS, or basic input output system. This is the first level of system control, which is usually handled by the BIOS, okay, which is stored on a ROM chip on the motherboard or in the firmware. Okay, so that is the system software. We are going to discuss more as we go on this presentation. Then we have next is utility software. I hope you can see it. It's grayish in color, in font. Utility software consists of programs designed to support and optimize the functioning of the computer system itself. So it boosts, okay, or it enhances, it optimizes the present system. Application software, or called your apps also in your computers, includes various programs which users require to perform day-to-day tasks. Okay, and usually these programs help maintain the system. For utility, of course, utility software, it helps to maintain the system, clean up unwanted programs, protect the system against virus attacks, and access the World Wide Web also. Although application software can also do this, especially in if we're talking about computer in the context of a smartphone. Okay, then we have the system software, again, the presence of BIOS, the firmware, the operating system, okay, or as we call OS. Okay, the software on the BIOS chip is the first part of the computer to function when the system is turned on, or when you turn on your computer rather, and or your cell phone, your smartphone. Usually it first searches for an operating system and loads up into the RAM of your unit. The BIOS consists of a set of instructions permanently burned into the computer chip, and in combination with your hardware and the softwares. The program on the chips are often called the firmware, okay, because they straddle the line between hardware and software. Okay. And for this reason, based on our readings, many computer engineers make a distinction between a firmware and a software. Okay. And also from that perspective, the OS is actually the first level of system software. Okay, and sometimes it can get confusing to whether programs are system softwares or utility programs. Okay, as we have said, utility programs enhances, optimizes the systems itself. Okay, then let's discuss a bit of the operating system, or the OS. As we have said in the earlier slide, it's an operating system. The operating system is the overall controller of the work of the computer, of the functioning, the performance, the different processes of a computer. The OS is software loaded from the hard drive into the RAM as soon as the computer is turned on. And also in case of the firmware, it cannot be upgraded without changing the hardware chip. The OS can be upgraded entirely, okay, through softwares. The operating system, or the OS, has different functions, like this one's listed. It manages the interface to all peripheral hardwares, which we have discussed during our presentation on computer hardware. It can schedule tasks, it can allocate storage in memory or in disk, it retrieves programs and data from storage, okay? And it can also provide an interface between the machine or the computer and the user. Okay, the user can simply delete one system of OS files from hardware and install a new one, especially if you have already mastered the skill or you are specialized in this change of programs or softwares in computers. Most users also, based from our references, purchase a computer with the OS already installed on the hard drive, though there are some vendors that you need still to buy the operating system. Okay, the OS can be purchased separately and can be installed by the user or the vendor. OS also handle the connection between the CPU and their peripherals, just like what I've said in the slide. And the connection between the CPU and the peripherals are is called an interface. Okay, and one of the most critical tasks, okay, performed by the OS involves the management of storage also. Okay, in comparison today, while it's still difficult, programming is difficult and very time consuming. It's much more programming today is still considered efficient, okay, compared to the earlier years. Okay, this is also a very important aspect of computers. Okay, the concept of programming. Okay, because this really helps in the development of a computer and the different functions of a computer. And from time to time, if you have noticed, there are many new system softwares, there are many updates of system softwares, even in cell phones, as you have observed. Okay. Then we have utility software. Okay, these are very important softwares also, or programs. They add power to the functioning of the system software. They support the operating system or application software of the programs. And utility software also has different types. Okay, so what's this? These types of softwares can explain the majority of the programs of these utility softwares or utility programs. Okay, so these are the 6 categories of utility software. security software, disk management utilities, backup utilities, screensavers are considered utility softwares, archival software, and programming environment support programs. So I think I prepared a presentation here. Okay, so number one, security software, talking about terms like antivirus, firewall, encryption programs. I know some of you are familiar with this term, especially audiences or learners or students who are really fond of technology and computer sciences and technology. Antivirus utilities serve usually primarily to guard or to safeguard your computer against programs that are considered to be malicious. This usually pops out in your cell phone or smartphones or in your computer once your computer detects a malware, malicious softwares. Okay? And firewall are a type, or firewalls are a type of security program that makes it much harder for unauthorized persons or systems to enter the computer and hijack, damage, or hack the computer, the data, for example, in your computer. Okay? Although there are there are systems which, even with the presence of firewall, can penetrate it. Okay, so firewalls can include both additional hardware and utility software. And encryption. Okay, encryption software encodes the data so that it cannot be read until it is decoded. Okay, so this is a security function also. And the letters in our website, HTTPS, okay, letters, especially also if you have LMS or programs that is ready for you for your institution, you can usually see this. Okay, the letters, HTTPS letters on a web page address, indicate that the site encrypts data sent through that site. Okay, so there will be a difficulty or no chance of reading it. Okay, the others can't read it until it is decoded also. And next, letter B, disk management utilities. Okay, disk management utilities. Usually this involves a hard disk space cleaning and analysis, defragmentation, duplicate deletion, and diagnostic programs. Okay, so from the name itself, you are maintaining, you are managing, you are cleaning, you're making your disk drives more efficient. Okay, so these are designed to help the user keeps hard disk space clean and efficient. It is accomplished by analyzing the use of disk space. Usually it's done by the computer itself. Defragmenting, deleting duplicate files, and many programs and internet sites temporarily store information on the hard drive as part of their operations also. But when these operations are finished, they don't clean the temporary files. So you may do it manually, okay? Or you may ask your provider to do it. Other disk management utilities include diagnostic programs designed to find problems with programs or operating systems so they can be fixed, or in simpler terms, or in lighter actions, you can troubleshoot problems in your systems. Okay. But for worst case scenarios, it's usually advised that you contact your providers. Then backup utilities. Okay, from the phrase alone, from the name of the category alone, you back up your data, especially if you don't want to lose any data, or when your unit is hijacked or hacked, or at least for piracy. Okay, so it serves again to help the users back up their data. Application programs of this utility software may be backed up, but usually that isn't the case, because this has a in a concern or issue on legalities. Okay, legal copies of programs or of softwares usually cannot be reloaded, okay, in a different unit. Usually, if it says one user only, one user type of applications of programs, and illegal programs are a different issue, of course, or piracy. Actually, it's a heavy crime nowadays, and it has heavy sanctions also, okay? Like jail time and what's this? Um, like payments, okay? Um, with thousands of amount, okay? The computer owner may not have a backup copy of illegally downloaded programs, and which during those early times, we know that piracy also are common, and the government and also different institutions are really fighting against piracy, especially for those developers, and in sense of in other contexts, like the artists, the singers, when their work are pirated, so they stand for it, they fight against it. Any computer component can fail to back up also, or in failing in operating. So there's a possibility that your files, your data will be lost. So it is advised usually that we back up our files regularly or in different storages. Okay. It's important for users to back up any data that they have saved that they don't want to lose permanently. For example, you may save it or back up in your clouds, in your emails, which compared to your storage devices, like your USB or your flash drives, your CDs, even the storage media of your computer can be damaged. Okay, so it's either you back up it in your external drive if you have one, or online backups through clouds. And then letter D, screensavers. These are usually considered utility programs also. They usually blank the monitor screen or fill it with constantly moving images. This is for entertainment purposes, or a way to promote privacy. If you don't want, if you're in idle time, and if you don't want your screen, your monitor, or the content of your monitor to be seen by the others, screensavers can help. Okay. It does not turn off your computer. Okay, originally developed for old technology screens that would damage by having the same image on the screen for a long period of time. So that's one of the functions before by screensavers. Okay, modern computer screens have different technology and don't suffer that risk anymore, that long-standing image that is being flashed. Okay, and they do provide a small measure of privacy, as we have mentioned, as they hide whatever is working or what is being worked on your computer. Okay, again during your away time. And this can be can disappear again if the user comes back to access the regular screen, the regular monitor. Okay, of course they do not provide security, okay, especially long-term security. Then typically screensavers also activate automatically if the computer does not receive any input from the user, okay, for a present time period, again during idle time or away time, depending on how you set it. Okay, images appear. You can modify the images, you can modify the timing, okay, of these screensavers. Then we have your archival software. This compresses and compresses information in files to be archived, and it stores them in a compressed form in some long-term storage devices. So why do we need to compress it? Because we want to make it to have a smaller memory, especially if we are saving storage. Okay. When the files are retrieved, software must be used to unpack or to decompress, okay, the data so it can be read. Okay, if you want to save it, you compress it to some packages. Then if you want to have an access from it, you retrieve it, you decompress it also. Okay, I think I have a slide here showing that compression and decompression of files. Okay, especially if you have large memory of a file, and if you want to really like save space or to send it, okay, with the limited with the given limited space through online, one way to send it is to compress it. Okay, so terms used to describe the data compression performed by archival software include packing, zipping, okay, compressing, archiving, as well as unpacking, unzipping, the archiving, and extraction. Okay, I'm aware with more aware or more. I use more of zipping and extraction. Okay, compressing, I also use that at times. Okay, and there are system software or softwares, utility softwares of course, that you can use to execute these actions. Compressions can reduce the size of a large file, as I have mentioned, and can be made small enough, okay, to email to another person or location. Okay, I hope you can see it in your screens, the different images. Okay, so in this scenario, okay, this is a compressed file, and if you want to have a this is a zip file, okay, like this one, okay, colored books, okay, that is in a belt or strap. And if you want to retrieve or access the files, you just right click this type of icon, then this will appear, then you just click extract, whether it's same location or different file location. Okay, so then a folder may appear, or Word or any file type that or document type will appear depending on what is saved or stored in that zip file. Okay, so on the other hand, if you want to transform your data into like this zip files, okay, you right click it and you choose compressed, okay, or zip the folder, okay, or the file. Okay, so that is extracting and zipping or compressing. Okay, then we have another one, programming environment support programs. This is to used by program developers to support their programming work to run their programs. Computers cannot read or understand human language, so programs must change the language in which developers write the language or the code. Okay, this is coding skills, coding abilities, okay, into machine language. Okay, so, or otherwise known nowadays as coding. Okay, you translate, like you translate human language to computer language so that the computer can understand you. Okay, the programs that perform these translations are called your compilers or interpreters. So, okay, the better word is interpret, okay, not translate. Okay, interpret. A programmer wishes to translate, okay, that the people are termed as interpreters. So basically we can interpret or translate, okay, your language into this program languages, okay. And this is a higher level language, and programming is difficult. Not everybody can really take the challenge of programming, okay. You need to, actually it's a course offered in different universities, different schools, if you are really into it, okay. But we have seen, right, you have seen some clips in the internet, young people, 10 years old, 11 years old, and teenagers who are really into programming already, okay. And they don't even have formal schooling, okay. And only does not only does the programmer have to detail, okay, complex logic, but commands that comprise the program must be written in specific syntax, okay. And when you say syntax, this refers to set of very specific rules about words, punctuations, symbols, and or numbers, or any type of computer language, okay. Syntax must be exactly correct for a computer to correctly compile or interpret or execute, okay, your code, okay, your language. Problems with either the logic or the syntax will cause the program to fail or perform incorrectly, okay. Usually just like in calculators, syntax errors may appear, right? So this notifies the user that there's an error in executing, okay, or programming a syntax, okay. And these kinds of problems are also called bugs, okay, and correcting them is called debugging a program. Utility programs designed to help a programmer debug a program are called debugging programs, and the most commonly used utility program for various types of compilers and debuggers, okay. So there are different types. So we're done with system softwares, we're done with utility programs. Let's proceed to application software, okay. So this include all the various programs like which we commonly use in our phones. These are your apps. These apps do the work, process data. You can play games with these applications also. You can communicate with others. We can communicate with others with the presence of these applications. We can watch videos. We can watch other multimedia programs. These application programs are written in a particular programming language, okay. Then the program is compiled or translated into machine language so that the computer can understand the instructions and execution can happen, okay. And I know one of the programs that you are familiar is the Office package, okay, with the presence of the spreadsheet, word processing, presentations, okay, just like here, okay, the Office, especially Microsoft Office, okay. These are the some of the application software. And in relation of software and in relation to our course, okay, in the medical field, we also have the subcategory, subtopic of this discussion focusing on hospital information system, okay. Okay, so hospital information system are usually used with large information, okay. And we know that hospitals and other business related institutions have really large amounts of information to process. Okay, and hospital information system is how's this functioning with has different functions. Okay, not only direct or indirect nursing care or patient care, quality care, but also administration tasks like billing, payroll, budgeting, inventory, count, personnel application or staffing applications. And nursing applications program are typically part of your HIS or hospital information system. Hospitals usually have large information called your hospital information system or hospital information technology system. So it differs from one institution to another, one reference to another. Okay. They also include clinical and semi-clinical systems. Example is the EMR, okay, or the EHR, the electronic medical record or the electronic health record. These terms are different. Okay. These are hundreds of application programs that nurses use. Okay, can be in clinical area and other specialized applications. Okay, so this the figure that you can see or the image that you can see in the screen are examples of hospital information system. Okay, they are clinical and semi-clinical systems and EMR. Okay. Hospital information system, the components nurses use include these ones also. Okay, we have the electronic medical record, admission, discharge, transfer systems, admission of patients, discharge of patients, medication administration record or MAR, which you usually see in pharmacology books, especially Western authored books. Supplies inventory systems, laboratory systems, radiology system, computerized patient acuity system, and email system, because one way of communicating to different departments or to patients are through emails also. Okay. Okay, so we have common. I'll be presenting actually in a different video lecture, also mainly focusing on hospital information system. So watch out for that video lecture. Okay, then this one, this a part of this presentation, right? Common software packages for microcomputers. Okay, so this is the standard, okay, standard Office package as we have mentioned earlier. Okay, so it has word processing, spreadsheets, presentation graphics, and the upgraded version usually have some database management system. And speaking of this database management system, I have a separate discussion also on this DBMS, which is very important also in information technology and also in nursing informatics, especially in the application of hospital information system. Okay, and the two most commonly used programs are the email system, word processor for communication purposes. Okay, and the most of these common programs have to be written in two versions. We have the IBM based from this reference, and we also have the Mac version. They can be solved in softwares or in DVDs or flash drives. So it depends on the vendor. Okay. Then of course, speaking of softwares developers, there are also ownership rights. Okay, this protects the ownership rights of softwares by, of course, the developers, publishers, and this ownership rights presents a very challenging task or part of the introduction of a software, because this can be pirated, okay, imitated, mimic, And if programs were sold outright, okay, users would have every right to distribute them, as they wished. Okay, and the industry could not survive in such market conditions usually. And as a result, software industry has followed an ownership model more similar to that of a book. Okay, so copyrights, okay, ownerships, royalties, okay, and purchasers, or as customers, clients, really do not buy the full rights of the software. Okay, we own the bought software, but the full rights, no. Of course, it's from the owners. Okay, we only purchase the license to use it. Okay, I don't know if you have tried installing some softwares and installing a legitimate software with with codes, with licenses. Okay, and yes, okay, so licensing is very important. Ownership rights is very important, okay, in software development and distribution. Okay, but nowadays there are some sites which contains softwares that are considered to be downloadable. It's a form of piracy. Yeah. Common software is useful to nurses or in the clinical setting, whereas we have in most hospitals, softwares are used by nurses based in a hospital information system. Okay, the hospital information system is a multi-purpose program designed to support many applications in hospitals and their associated clinics and other departments. Okay, so the components, as I have mentioned earlier, are the AMR, okay, the admission discharge, email system, computerized patient acuity system, laboratory system, inventory, the medication administration records software or system, and these are found, okay, to be to build, okay, regional, national, and international networks with their nursing colleagues. Okay, with the use of chat rooms, bulletin boards, conferencing systems, and this serves of the internet. Okay, and nowadays many hospitals are really adapting different softwares, and the developers are really very good in doing these softwares, and they really introduce it to promote, safety of clients, safety of execution, using efficiency in terms of time, of effort, and somehow even of the cost. Okay. Then we also have others like nurses may download any thousands of software applications onto their PDA, but here in our place we do not usually use PDAs, or your personal digital assistant, or I know in the US even medical doctors use as PDAs. This is to assist them with patient care or a sort of information from one doctor to another, or to a nurse. Okay, some PDAs are very low cost, and some, or the software, okay, are very low cost, and some are free. And some programs include drug guides, medical dictionaries. For some hospitals, they still go for books, for the hard copies. Okay, and software now can be downloaded into PDAs, just like what we have mentioned, and there are lots of programs already being used. Okay. Then we have computer systems also in this discussion. Every functioning computer is a system. It is a complex entity. Okay, systems are complex. Systems consist of organized set of interconnected components or factors that function together as a unit to accomplish results that one part alone could not. Okay, so that's somehow basically a definition also of a system. And computer system may refer to a single machine or unit, or even the softwares that it has, that is also unconnected to any other computers. Okay, so not all systems can be connected. It depends on the user. It depends on the institution. Computer systems also have the greatest range of functionality. It is realized when computers are connected to another computers or a network, okay, or to the internet. Okay. So these computers can communicate. Again, this is one of the greatest range of functionality, when one network of computers can communicate to others. Common types of computer networks are your point-to-point, local area network, or LAN, as you have discussed earlier, wide area network, and your MAN or metropolitan area networks. Okay, LANs, WANs, and MANs are sequentially larger, and given the number of users, they require communication architecture to ensure all users on the network are served. Okay, if the network capacity is small, based on this reference, users will experience very long waits, okay, or access very long time to access data. And if this persists, the system crashes. Okay, especially if there are thousands of users in a very limited system. Okay, and computer networks must allocate time and memory space to many users. Okay, so you have to free up space, or upgrade your space, your memory space, your storage, and so must have a way to also organize these resources. Okay. Okay, so moving on, we have another types of software. We have your open source and free software. Okay, meaning free software is it's open to all, it's free. Okay, meaning you don't have to pay anything. So users have the freedom to use it, to study it, to redistribute it, and to improve the software. So that's how open it is. You can manipulate it, you can modify it. Okay, open source concept is said to promote software reliability and quality by supporting independent peer review. Rapid evolution can also happen because the source code is open, for as long as you know how to code and program, of course, as well as making the source code of software freely available. That's very let's say higher chances of developing a better one, or the evolution of the software may increase. Okay, and there are many open source or free source softwares, like the operating system, web browser, email clients, word processing or integrated office suite, and presentation tools. Okay, examples of your OSS or FS applications, we have your operating systems like Linux, if you're familiar, web browsers like Firefox, word processing or integrated office suite like OpenOffice, and we have healthcare applications also, like OpenMRS, which I'll be doing a demo later, and GNU Med. Okay, but of these healthcare applications, I'm more aware with OpenMRS. So yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video lecture on computer software and a sort of hospital information system. So on the next video lecture, we are going to discuss on two separate video lectures. We are going to discuss database management system and also hospital information system. So with this, I want to thank you for watching and listening, and I hope you learned something with this video lecture series that will help you in your nursing informatics. Thank you. Be safe.